beautiful life
สวัสดีครับ Good afternoon and welcome to A Beautiful Life on englishonline.rmutp.ac.th. My name is อาจารย์เกษมพุทธเรืองศรี your host for the program. A Beautiful Life is a program broadcasted every Monday from 1 p.m. to 1:30 p.m. Articles and information about life lessons or good phrases from the books or websites will be presented in this program together with the latest news from Ratchamongkol University of Technology Pranakhon for you to enjoy. Today we start with the article from Channel News Asia. They say gone are the days when workers can rely on a single job for their entire career. What does job security look like in today's volatile and rapidly evolving work environment? Career strategist Adrian Chu weighed in. Reported from Singapore, they said in recent times there has been a significant rise in retrenchment, reflecting the challenging economic landscapes that many industries and businesses are facing. In Singapore, retrenchments continue to increase in the first quarter to 3,820, up from 2,990 in the fourth quarter of 2022, driven by the electronics, manufacturing, information and communications and financial services sectors. Major tech companies have continued cutting people this year, with more than 200,000 tech employees laid off globally over the past 7 months, according to Layoff FYI. Retrenchments are not confined to the tech sector, with the impending closure of Singapore Tough Club or STC about 770 workers. Those employed by STC and those employed by horse trainers at the club will be affected. So the topic is the worry is real. In an era of economic volatility and rapid technological advancements, the concept of job security has become increasingly elusive. Gone are the days when individuals could rely on a single job for their entire career, assured of stability and financial well-being. Today, workers find themselves grappling with the myth of job security, an illusion shattered by laid-off, downsizing, and ever-evolving nature of work. In a recent study by Employment Hero, 49% of Singaporean workers said they were insecure or unsure about security in their current roles, making them the most anxious group of employees in Asia Pacific. Another recent survey by Randstad shows similar sentiments, with 48% of respondents in Singapore saying that they were worried about losing their jobs. The survey also showed that 71% of respondents felt their financial position was preventing them from retiring as early as they want. Some might attribute it to a Singaporean's typical Kaishu syndrome, but as a career practitioner, they say they can tell everyone that the worry is real, especially among local executives in their 40s and beyond. The spat of tech retrenchment hasn't elevated the climate of fear, either not just in a term of losing jobs, but also in terms of facing a wider field of potential competitors flooding the job market for the already limited roles available. This leads executives to try their utmost to hang on to their jobs. Some will work extra hard through dinners and weekends just to know their worth. Others might resort to office politics to stay ahead of their colleagues or brown-nose their bosses to preserve their jobs. Some might also resort to cutting their own salaries. A survey of 1,000 U.S. executives by Resume Builder in January found that 66% of respondents had taken a salary cut in the past 6 months, with 94% saying it was to prevent or reduce layoffs. All options put a mental and emotional strain on workers and those around them. So the topic is focus on career security, not job security. However, instead of worrying about job security, how about striving for career security? Job security is all about making sure your job will still be there until the day you retire. In today's volatile world of cheap labor and artificial intelligence, being anxious about this is futile. No job is guaranteed. On the other hand, by making sure that your skills are relevant and honest, and your knowledge current and deep, any company would love to have you on their team. This is something that everyone can work towards. Being so good at what you do that you are constantly in demand by the market is what we define as having career security. You will no longer need to worry about whether your company has a job for you. If you have career security, you will always have options at your disposal, both internally and externally. It's been said that a bird sitting on a tree is never afraid of the branch breaking because her trust is not on the branch, but on her own wings. Likewise, workers should build their confidence like the birds. How can they strive for this? So they said, fearless and live more. First, by being fearless, employees who have been in the same company for many years can develop from a farm of dependency. They get complainted in their comfort zones and sometimes believe there are no external options available, like pet canaries. They see their company not as a cage that keeps them in, but as a fence that keeps bad things out. Some are reluctant to fly out the door if it were wide open, while others may even have forgotten how to fly. To break out of this mindset, try this thought experiment. What would you do if your company retrenched you tomorrow? Would you be worried about where your next meal will be coming from? Or would you fearless pick up the phone, make a few calls to your competitors, and start discussing work opportunities? Second, focus on capabilities. A lot has been said about skills upgrading in recent years. However, pure skills alone will not get you far. For example, being a data analyst in grades, it's great, but there are thousands of other data analysts who are probably faster, cheaper, and more experienced than you are. You cannot beat them on skill alone, but being capable of leveraging data analysts to optimize regional supply planning and operations within the fast-growing green energy management industry. That type of value creation can be easily qualified by the amount of money you can save for the company. That's hard to beat, even in a fight job market. Don't just blindly acquire the skill alone. Use your current set of experiences and knowledge and layer on whatever new skill you've learned so you can provide context and relevant to your future employers. When you can do that, company will immediately see the value you can bring and will want you on their team. So you can listen to the podcast about daily cuts, pay rights over job security, what workers in Singapore are thinking for more information. The next one, third, build a reputation. There is a lot of talk about how a personal brand can help one's career, but workers should focus on building their professional reputation instead of spending time chasing likes and social media platforms. Make yourself known in the markets that you want to work in, building your narrative around your capabilities mentioned earlier. Then amplify it through your industry professional network or even via LinkedIn with a relevant past or maybe you can post one or two posts on LinkedIn. Being known for your capabilities by the companies or bosses you want to work for will give you a primary market to explore when you do leave your company, be it by choice or not. So Adrian Chu is the CEO and founder of Career Agility International and a career strategy consultancy. So you can read more information on Channel News Asia about gone are the days when workers can rely on a single job for their entire career. We will be right back after a short break. You are listening to A Beautiful Life on englishonline.rmutp.ac.th. So now we have a commentary from Channel News Asia about young onset Alzheimer's can be diagnosed from as early as 30. Here's what to look out for. What are the first signs of young onset Alzheimer's disease? It isn't memory loss, and mistaking the symptoms can put people off seeking medical help, says a University of Reading neuroscientist. From Channel News Asia, reported from Reading, United Kingdom, Alzheimer's disease is often thought of as a condition that only affected the elderly, but around 3.9 million people worldwide aged 30 to 64 live with young onset Alzheimer's disease, a form of dementia in which symptoms appear before the age of 65. English journalist and broadcaster Fiona Phillips, 62 years old, recently revealed that she's been diagnosed with it. In the interview, Phillips shares that the main symptoms she had experienced before her diagnosis were brain fog and anxiety, highlighting just how different young onset can be from late onset Alzheimer's disease. First, symptoms begin much earlier, as young as 30. In some rare cases, through it's typically diagnosed between the age of 50 and 64. And while people with Alzheimer's disease commonly experience memory loss as the first sign of disease, people with young onset Alzheimer's tend to have other symptoms such as worse attention, less ability to mimic hand gestures, and worse spatial awareness. The topic is anxiety and behavioral changes. Some people with young onset Alzheimer's may also experience an increase in anxiety prior to their diagnosis. This may be due to an awareness of the change occurring without a clear reason as to why they are feeling different. They may think these changes in behavior are temporary, which can put people off seeking medical help. Healthcare professionals may also misinterpret anxiety as a sign of other health conditions, but while they may have less cognitive impairment at time of diagnosis, studies have indicated that those living with young onset Alzheimer's disease show more rapid changes in their brain. This indicates that the condition can be more aggressive than late onset Alzheimer's disease. This may also explain why people with young onset Alzheimer's tend to have a life expectancy around 2 years shorter than those with late onset. Research shows that people with young onset Alzheimer's are also more aware of the changes in their brain activity. This can lead to behavioral changes, with conditions such as depression being prevalent in the group. Within the brain itself, young onset Alzheimer's disease causes similar chemical changes as those in late onset Alzheimer's, but the brain area targeted by these chemical changes can be different. Research have found that brain areas evolved in processing sensory and movement-related information called the parietal cortex show greater signs of damage. There is also less damage to the hippocampus compared to late onset Alzheimer's, an area of the brain important in learning and memory. So the topic is risk factors for young onset Alzheimer's. The risk factors for young onset Alzheimer's disease are similar to those for late onset Alzheimer's. For example, poor level of cardiovascular fitness and lower cognitive ability in early adulthood have been linked to an eightfold increased risk of developing young onset Alzheimer's. However, we are yet to fully understand all the factors that influence a person's changes on developing the condition. One aspect experts are clear on is that genetics play a role in about 1 in 10 cases of young onset Alzheimer's disease. So far, the three genes APP, ASEN1 and PSEN2 has been linked to young onset Alzheimer's disease. These genes are all related to a toxic protein that is thought to contribute to Alzheimer's disease, known as amyloid beta. When these genes become faulty, there is an accumulation of toxic amyloid beta, which is linked to symptoms of Alzheimer's disease. Growing evidence suggests that there may also be a link between traumatic brain injury and young onset Alzheimer's disease. So the last topic is what people can do to lower risks. In the United Kingdom, people diagnosed with young onset Alzheimer's disease can be prescribed medication which can help manage symptoms. But in the United States, 2 therapies have been approved which may slow the progression of symptoms. However, these were only tested on people with late onset Alzheimer's disease, so it's uncertain if they will have as distinct of an effect. People who may have a family history of dementia or are concerned about their risks can have a genetic test done through a private company. This will confirm the presence of faulty genes. These tests can be carried out for those showing symptoms or those with family history that wish to know their future prognosis. Why it's not possible to modify genetics if you are at greater risk, some research does support the idea that you can strengthen your resilience against the disease through a healthier lifestyle. One study found that when people who were genetically predisposed to young onset Alzheimer's exercise for more than 2.5 hours per week, they score better in memory tests than those who were not as physically active. Alongside being more active, diet choices may also lower risks of young onset Alzheimer's. An Italian study found that people who consume high level of vegetables, dry fruits, and chocolate appeared to have lower risks. So you can read more information about young onset Alzheimer's can diagnose from as early as 30. From China News Asia, and Mark Dallas, the writer of this article, is associate professor in cellular neuroscience at the University of Reading. This commentary first appeared on The Conversation. So before we end our program today, we have some news from Rajamongkol University of Technology Pranakon. Right now, moving forward to achieve the world's Green University Standard, UI Green Matrix World University Ranking. Dr. นัทวรพลสิริวัชรบุญ President of ราชมงคล University of Technology พระนคร presided over the opening ceremony of the study visit and workshop on UI Greenmatic World University ranking and strategies to drive university with quality and international standards, which was held between the 5th to the 7th July 2023 at the Hotel Aitara Resort and Spa, Phetchaburi Province, along with leading a team of university administrators to listen to a lecture on the topic of UI Greenmatic World University ranking by Assistant Professor Dr. Nisa Pakviolai, Dean of the Faculty of Science and Technology ราชภัฏวลัยอลงกรณ์ในพระบรมราชูปถัมภ์ University recommend the planning and operation guidelines under 6 indicators, namely location and infrastructure, energy and climate change, waste management, water management, transportation management, including management of education and research. ราชมงคล University of Technology พระนคร administrators are preparing to apply the knowledge and guidelines that have been shared to bring the university to international standards according to the criteria for environmental standards and sustainable deployment. In addition, ราชมงคล University of Technology พระนคร administrator participated in a study visit about Green and Clean University at Phetchaburi Ratchapat University by being honored by Assistant Professor Vichian Khemngan, Vice President for Planning and Development, and Assistant Professor Dr. Kitinan Bunrod, together with the working group on Green University, gave a lecture and guide the site visit. In this regard, the President of Ratchamongkol University of Technology พระนคร believes that being assessed for international standards in various fields can help reflect strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and obstacles in university development. It can also be used to build confidence through publicizing the university to society. And the time is up for today, A Beautiful Life. Please join us on every Monday here on englishonline.rmutp.ac.th. Your host has been อาจารย์เกษม พุทธเรืองศรี You are welcome to subscribe to our channel on englishonline.rmutp.ac.th. Thank you very much for joining our program today and see you again next Monday. สวัสดีครับ
Beautiful Life will be back again next Monday.